Good evening, my dear friends. It's wonderful to be with you again. A young boy once asked me, Neville, why do some dreams come true and others don't? I told him, because some dreams are felt as real and others are not. Tonight, we'll explore the art of feeling, the secret that brings your imagination to life. We've talked about imagination creating reality, the law of assumption, and the state of consciousness you dwell in. But there's a golden thread that runs through all of this, a thread that makes it all work. Feeling. Imagination creates, but feeling makes it real. Without feeling, your imaginal acts are like lifeless pictures on a wall. They might be beautiful, but they don't breathe. When you add feeling, you give them life. You make them yours. William Blake, that great mystic poet, once said, "Man is all imagination, and God is man." Your imagination is God within you, creating your world. But how does God create? Through feeling. In the Bible, we're told that God saw what he had made, and it was good. He didn't just see it, he felt it. He felt the goodness of it. And that's what you must do. You must feel the reality of what you imagine. Feeling is the secret that bridges the gap between the inner world of your mind and the outer world of your experience. Let me tell you a story to show you what I mean. During the war, I heard from a soldier stationed far overseas. He was homesick, longing to walk the streets of his hometown in New York, to see his family, to feel the familiar pavement under his feet. But leave seemed impossible. The war was raging, and his unit was on constant duty. So I wrote to him and said, "Don't despair. Use your imagination." I told him to imagine himself walking those streets every night before he went to sleep, to feel the cobblestones beneath his boots, to hear the honk of taxis, to smell the hot dogs from the street vendors, and most of all, to feel the joy of being home. He took my advice. Every night, in the midst of that chaos, he closed his eyes and walked the streets of New York in his imagination. He felt the reality of it, the breeze on his face, the laughter of his sister as he hugged her, the weight of his mother's hand in his. And one day, out of the blue, he received word that he was being granted unexpected leave. The orders came through, and within weeks, he was walking those very streets, not in his imagination, but in the flesh. Why? Because he felt it as real. He didn't just picture it, he lived it in feeling, and the world had to match it. Do you see what I'm saying? Feeling is the secret. It's not enough to just see a picture in your mind. You must step into it. You must feel it as though it were happening now. If you imagine wealth, don't just see a stack of money. Feel the texture of the bills in your hands. Feel the freedom it brings. Feel the joy of giving generously to those you love. If you imagine love, don't just see the person. Feel their hand in yours. Feel the warmth of their smile. Feel the peace in your heart. If you imagine health, don't just picture yourself well. Feel the energy in your body. Feel the strength in your limbs. Feel the gratitude for every breath. Feeling is what gives your imaginal acts substance. It's what makes them real to you. And when they're real to you, they must become real in the world. The Bible says, "It is done unto you as you believe." And what is belief? It's the feeling of certainty, the feeling that it is so. When you feel it as real, you're planting a seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness, and that seed must grow. Let me give you another example. A woman came to me once who wanted to reconcile with her estranged daughter. They hadn't spoken in years, and the pain of it weighed heavy on her heart. She said, "Neville, I've tried imagining us together, but it feels so far away." I told her, "You're imagining the picture, but you're not feeling the reality." I told her to imagine a specific scene, a moment where her daughter walks through the door, smiles at her, and they embrace. I told her to feel the door opening, to hear her daughter's voice saying, "Mother, I've missed you. To feel the warmth of that hug, the tears of joy on her cheeks. She did as I suggested. Night after night, she felt that scene as real. She didn't just see it. She lived it in her heart. And within a month, her daughter called her unexpectedly. They met, they talked, and yes, they embraced, just as she had imagined. Why? Because she felt it as real. Feeling bridged the gap between her imagination and her reality. Now, some of you might say, but Neville, I don't know how to feel something I can't see. And I say to you, you feel things every day that aren't in front of you. When you worry about tomorrow, don't you feel the anxiety as if it's happening now? When you think of a loved one far away, don't you feel the warmth of their memory? You already know how to feel. All I'm asking you to do is use that same power to feel the reality of your desire. Here's how you can apply this tonight. When you go home, choose a desire, something that stirs your heart. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Then, imagine a scene that implies it's fulfilled. Maybe it's a new job. Imagine yourself sitting at your new desk, feeling the chair beneath you, holding the pen in your hand, hearing your new colleagues say, "Welcome aboard." Maybe it's a trip you've longed to take. Imagine yourself there, feeling the sun on your face, hearing the waves, smelling the salt air. Whatever it is, don't just see it, feel it. Focus on the feeling. Make it alive in you. And when you've got that feeling, dwell in it. Let it fill you up. Don't rush it. Savor it like a fine meal. Feel the relief, the joy, the certainty of it being done. And then, carry that feeling with you as you go about your day. When doubts creep in, return to that feeling. Don't fight the doubts. Just feel the reality again. The more you feel it, the more natural it becomes, until it's as real to you as this moment. Feeling is the secret, my friends. It's the spark that lights the fire of creation. Without it, your imaginal acts are cold and lifeless. But with it, they burst into flame, they become real. So don't just imagine, feel. Feel it now, and the world will echo your feeling back to you. Go home tonight and practice this art of feeling. Choose your scene, step into it, feel its reality, and let it live in you. When we meet again, I want to hear how your feelings have shaped your world. Until then, my dear ones, feel the beauty of your fulfilled desire. Live in that feeling and watch the miracles unfold. Good night.